A Story of Friends. Chapter 1. Questions. I want you to meet my friend Precious. Precious Egg. You actually might have already met her, but never noticed her because she doesn't really stand out in a crowd. You see, in Eggland, where she lives, folks don't look terribly different from one another. Some are big and some are little, and depending on where you go in Eggland, some are blue and some are brown and some are spotted. But where Precious lives, most are creamy white and very round. Precious likes to dress up to look a little bit different. She sometimes paints herself with stripes and stars and other fun designs. But on a typical day, you will see her waddling along with her clean white shell glistening from a fresh wash. Precious lives a comfortable life. She lives in a plush feathered nest that is quite warm and cozy. She has two brothers who are twins. One is named Good Egg and the other is named Bad Egg. They're a bit younger and she has the challenge of guiding them and helping them to make good grades in school. Good Egg is quite a good little guy. He's a hard worker and does what he's told without arguing. He's always helpful, and if Precious Egg needs a hand fluffing the nest or doing other chores, he's the first to volunteer. Bad Egg is a little bit of a different story. One would guess that since they are twins, they would think a lot alike. But Bad Egg seems to always have a different idea about things than Precious and Good Egg. If Precious were to say to him, "Always do the right thing," Bad Egg would turn to his brother and whisper, "Let's always do the wrong thing." Good Egg was continuously caught off guard when Bad Egg said things like that. He was afraid that his brother would get into trouble by being so naughty. Good Egg followed all the rules, and he took to heart the warning that eggs that broke the rules got fried. He never knew anyone who actually got fried, but he lived in great fear of the consequences of bad actions. Bad Egg seemed to like to tempt fate. If there was a rule, it was a rule to break. Poor Precious Egg and Good Egg had their hands full trying to keep Bad Egg in line. Precious even cried herself to sleep at night, worrying about her dear brother, Bad Egg, because he often hurt her feelings and didn't seem to care that he made her life miserable at times. So you're getting the idea that life in Eggland is not perfect. In fact, one big worry about being an egg in Eggland is that just the very nature of being an egg has its dangers. You may have heard about one of Precious Egg's friends, Humpty Dumpty. There have actually been stories written about Humpty, so he's a bit famous. Humpty and Precious were very good friends and played together a lot. One day, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. He was probably not as careful as he could have been, and then he had a great fall. Being an egg, his shell shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. Great efforts were made to put him back together again, but Humpty has never been the same. Precious still goes over to his house at least once a week to see him. They play chess and Monopoly, but never again will they be able to ride bikes or do all the fun things that they used to. Humpty can't walk or do anything at all but lie in his bed. Lots of the other Eggland kids have pretty much forgotten that Humpty was ever one of their friends. They never go to see him anymore. But Precious has never forgotten him and considers him one of her very best friends. She wonders, though, why it could be that something so terrible happened to her good friend. It also makes her worried because she knows that she also has a fragile shell. What if her shell were to shatter all to pieces too? Precious is one of those kids that thinks about things like that. She worries and wonders and feels lots of things. Lots of the others tell her that she thinks too much. They tell her just to forget about it. Don't ask so many questions, they say. But she can't because those deep thoughts come to her whenever she is quiet or lies down to sleep or wakes up in the morning. She wishes she didn't think so much, but she does. The other thing that Precious worries about, but that no one ever wants to talk about, is the great shadow. Maybe you will be kind enough to listen to the story of the great shadow and help her figure out the answer to this great mystery. In Eggland, there have been incidents when all of a sudden, out of the blue, an enormous shadow covers everyone. Then, instantly, 8 enormous toes with long talons reach out and pick someone up. Then, ka-thump, 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 off through the sky, the claws carry the egg away, never to be seen again. The only lasting clue that adds to the mystery is that feathers, just 1 or 2, remain behind on the ground. Eggs are at a bit of a disadvantage in that they can't look up or look side to side. All they can see is what's straight ahead. No one can ever see the shadow arriving. They don't see where it comes from or where it goes. No one has a clue as to why this happens, and someone is lifted away from Eggland to disappear forever. Precious worries that the great shadow could carry her away, or her mother, father, or brothers, or friends. This is pretty scary. But when she asks someone about the mystery of the great shadow, they just say, "Don't worry about it. It won't happen to you." Only she thinks, but what if it does? There is one person that Precious